What's up, everybody? It's a Blue Drake, and today I'm going to tell you about a game that you've been sleeping on. You need to be following this game. Welcome to a game called Death Trash. I know, it's a weird name, but I love weird names. And if you are a fan of the Fallout series, the best way to sum up this game is this is a two-dimensional version of Fallout. Now, I know what you're going to say. Blue Drake, there already is a two-dimensional version of Fallout. It's called Fallout. Yes, I get that. And Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 were both turn-based 2D games, and then Fallout 3 was a 3D first-person shooter. Quite the transitionary period for a direct successor in the franchise. But the cool thing about this game is it's an indie game, and not only does it have a lot of really cool stuff that none of the other Fallouts have really delved into as well as this one has, but it is also a real-time game. So it's not a turn-based shooter, which a top-down, real-time Fallout successor is, I don't know, man, that tickles my fancy, and it really should tickle yours. So take a look at the trailer for this game, and then I want to tell you the specifics of why this is so cool and why you should definitely be more interested than you probably are. All right, so you've seen the basics. Let's talk about the specifics. Now, the coolest thing about this, and again, you guys know that I'm a junkie for this, but the coolest thing about following Death Trash is the developer. And his name is Stefan Swedish name. But he posts really in-depth dev blogs about all of the things that he works on for the game. And that's honestly probably some of the coolest stuff. So not only is this game beautiful, I mean, take a look at this. This is really cool pixel art. I love this kind of stuff. It's like this gruesome, grotesque, but vibrant, I mean, really cool real-time 2D isometric kind of game style. But the world map and the large open areas where you can kind of like travel to anywhere that you want, and there's going to be a whole bunch of different areas that you can go to. He's even teased how you're going to be able to board and be on spaceships, and there's going to be entire like spaceship campaigns, which I think is really cool. And of course there's the inventory system and character customization and all of the things that you would expect from a cyberpunk RPG or like a post-apocalyptic thing. But one of the things that I like the most is the humor, but also the way the humor is actually what's a good word? Like almost emergently developed. So for instance, I mean, he's got all of this crazy stuff that happens. Are those human corpses? Don't touch them. They're sorted. So all of the Fallout style humor. Maybe actually it's kind of a little. Some of this stuff is actually kind of funnier than Fallout. But the coolest thing about this is that all of these characters are created in a way, and their artificial intelligence is programmed in a way where they can react to anything. So it's not like you're on rails and you're going through this experience and there's only like a set number of things that can happen. A lot of the interactions that you have are completely emergent, and you can interact with these people in kind of like in whatever way you want, and your relationship with them is going to branch off in different ways, both in large ways, like with main story NPCs, and you just shoot a guy and he won't be able to give you quests anymore, but also in like really tiny ways. And I guess the best way to explain that would be let's see if here we go, this right here. So take a look at this. As you can see here you confront you walk up to this NPC, right? And this NPC has a gun, and you don't have a gun. So the first thing you do is he threatens you, and he's like, walk away while you still can. Then you take your gun out, and then he goes, put your gun away. And then you don't put your gun away. And then he just gives up and walks away. So instead of it like, the funny thing is like, instead of it just being like a stereotypical, like, oh yeah, this guy just shoots you if you intimidate. The characters can have atypical responses. Like there's things that will happen that will be completely unexpected. And I think that's also kind of when he started showing off the dialogue system that he was creating. You can start a conversation with a character, and then if another character overhears that conversation, they can come over and interrupt the conversation in dynamic ways that are kind of like that spawn all of these really weird interactions. So for instance, this guy's talking. Did someone mention fucking? So there's all sorts of stuff like that is going to provide a whole wealth of opportunities to interact with these people in really rich ways. Like you can just break into their house and they'll react in different ways. I mean, this is kind of like the same. And one of the reasons he's making this game is obviously he's a huge fan of Fallout. None of this is like. In fact, he even explicitly said back in 2015, he's been working on this game for forever, that he wanted to make. He was tired of Fallout. He was tired of Fallout, and he wanted to make his own Fallout game that does the kinds of stuff that he thinks Fallout could do even better, because Fallout is all about choice and consequences and kind of like dynamic interactions, and he wants to take that and enrich that even further. And through his work that he's shown so far, he kind of has. There's and the more that I look at the work that he's putting out, the more that I'm impressed with what he is making. Like here's you can sit here and you can shoot past another character, and maybe they'll run away. You can kind of like intimidate them. You can force your own character to do a whole bunch of crazy stuff, like eating your own vomit. For instance, here's another thing. Like you walk into somebody's house, and they don't want other people to overhear your conversation, so they'll have you like close the door. And as you saw in like the previous interaction, with characters actually being able to come in and like interrupt conversations, this could potentially even have gameplay implications. If you leave a door open and somebody outside overhears a conversation and then they come in and they actually interrupt that conversation, it could create a completely different line in whatever quest you're happening to go through. And I think that's really cool. He's got so many interesting characters that he's developed for this game. He's got so many interesting systems that are capable of creating these emergent scenarios. Do you want me to get naked? Why? So we could do something together. And that's just the first layer of this game. So the dialogue, the interaction, the emergent scenarios that are created through these non-linear systems that he builds for NPC interaction, like that's just the first layer. But then in addition to that, in addition to also like the large open worlds where you can travel from place to place and you get involved in these random encounters and stuff like that, there's all of these other gameplay mechanics. So as you can see here, one of the biggest things that's going to be available in the game is complex stealth. And he's actually shown a lot more mechanics than just, because again, you've got like the visibility cones and they patrol around, but there's so many other mechanics that he's also shown where they can actually hear you and they'll actually go out and search an area, or like create patrol. I mean, this is the kind of thing where you've got stealth, but then you also have this complex NPC dialogue system that he's created where maybe they'll send somebody out to go look around for you, and then that person will like not find you, come back, talk to the other person. That person might get mad at that guy and they'll end up shooting each other. Like this is the kind of stuff. Like, why couldn't you find him, you idiot? Boom. Like this is the kind of crazy stuff that might dynamically occur because of this game. Like this, do you guys get it yet? That's the kind of stuff that I think I'm most excited about, because I like stealth games. I think stealth games are great. And this game is not going to be the only stealth game that exists, but all of these other things taken into consideration might be able to spawn scenarios that we've never really seen before. So for instance, here's a bunch of people that walk into a house, and if you point your gun at them, they freak out and then they just kind of walk out, which I think is kind of funny. And then just, I don't know, random stuff like this. Pushing people around, they get mad. Here's an interesting one that he showed me where when NPCs actually try to like open a door and then you close it in their face, they'll actually get mad. And I think this is funny because when you look at games like Oblivion or you look at games like Fallout, like there's so many exploits where people, because the dialogue system and the consequence system, if you can call it the consequence system, I don't know if you can call it that, because it's kind of not as in-depth as it could be. You've got people that walk into a store and then they put a like a bag over somebody's head so they can't see anything, and then they steal everything from the store, and then the characters are like, oh, that's okay, I don't really, because it's not, they haven't been developed in a way to react to that kind of stimuli. And I think that's why it's really cool when I watch the kind of stuff that he's making. He's creating these systems and he's creating these reaction these reaction stimuli, well, not stimuli, it's not the right word, reaction parameters that are so broad that I think there's going to be a lot of players that go in here expecting these AI and these NPCs that they interact with to be kind of like exploitable and passive, and they're going to have really visceral and honestly realistic reactions to your behavior that I don't think people are going to expect, that in other single player games are considerably more lenient, and the NPCs just kind of allow to happen because they don't want to interrupt the player's experience, and that's the kind of thing that I think is really is one of the most alluring aspects of this game. And then all of the other things that he posts, again, you guys know I love like game dev stuff. He posts stuff where he shows off how his AI works. He posts stuff about how he's programming the game and how he's building it. And he's also been doing things like creating like level editors and creating scenario editors, and he shows off those, and those are really powerful and look really, really cool. You can create buildings, you can create maps, you can create all of this. I mean, think of the workshop content that is going to spawn from this on Steam. You're going to have like probably entire campaigns that are created where players can go through and kind of like explore, which I think is going to be amazing. I mean, unless he's not going to release these tools, which, Steven, if you don't, I'm going to be mad. But that is Death Trash. Death Trash is amazing. This is probably one of the coolest games that you don't know about right now. I know it's a 2D isometric game and not everybody's into that, but I'm telling you, you need to be. This is something that needs to be on your radar. Go wishlist it on Steam. I'll put a link down in the description. It's really, really cool. And again, the dialogue system, all of the complex interactions, this is just the tip of the iceberg. All of the other aspects of the game are also incredibly alluring. Like the combat's incredibly visceral and like grotesque, and like all the characters are interesting. The inventory system and the character development is also super in depth. The combat looks like it's sweet as hell. Like you can blow people into tiny little pieces, which that's my stuff, dude. I love that. I love gross games. And he throws a grenade against the wall and then he explodes. It's fantastic, and it's all being created by a single developer. I mean, unless he's hiring some people to like help him with other stuff. But as far as I'm aware, it's a single developer who really loves this game, and he's posting about it every single day. And I follow his posts like just very closely, and it's really cool how he shows off not just how he's creating the game, but he also kind of like experiments and has fun with all of the different features, and he kind of shows you how expansive some of these features can end up being. And I don't know, it's amazing. So go check it out. Game is called Death Trash. It is on Steam. If you haven't wishlisted it on Steam yet, you absolutely should. It's going to be amazing. It's probably going to be one of the top games of 2020. Like, straight up, dude, nobody is freaking covering this game. Like, I'm sitting here looking for, like, anything, and, like, yeah, there's a couple of smaller people, but like dude, somebody big needs to take a look at this game. Seriously, like, what is it? You got Alpha, Beta, Gamer, like this dude, like, you guys need to get on this, bruh. You need to get on this, bruh. This is going to be, I don't know, this is going to be a fantastic game, and people love Fallout, and people love, like, funny, grotesque games that also have complex NPC interaction. I think this is going to be a good one, bruh. Gonna be a good one. All right, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. As always, if you want to help out, you can go and support us on our Patreon. We also just released a game called Blood Metal on Steam. If you want to go pick that up, I will also put a link down in the description, and you can go pick up Blood Metal. It is very early in development, so go easy on me, boy. We're working on a concept of creating it as one of our first fully open source games. So we created Blood Metal, and then we're probably, because I'm all about community development, and we want to take Blood Metal and we want to put it up on something like GitHub, so anybody can branch it, and we want to put it under a license where anything that people kind of contribute to it and create with it all kind of stays as a part of a community free license, so we can kind of all work on it together, which I think would be amazing. And then of course you could always still support it on Steam in order to help us develop it further. And then of course we also have our other games, Warfare, Iron Armada, all that stuff. Go check it out. Thanks so much if you do. Thanks so much to all of our Patreon supporters, and I will see you guys in the next one. My name is Blue Drake. It's been real, and as always, remember, I love you forever.